when labor has whispered its beginning but hasn't fully arrived, and felt something rise up in you that you couldn't quite name? What if that feeling wasn't fear to push away, but power to say yes to? Hey there, happy home birthers, and welcome to episode 336 of the Happy Home Birth Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin Fusco, and today I'm speaking with Petronella. Petronella is a mother, a wife, and a lover of nature, art, and creativity, joining us all the way from Sweden. She grew up with one of the rarest gifts a woman can carry into her own birth, a mother who loved to give birth and who told those stories with such joy that they shaped how Petronella saw birth her whole life. Long before she was ever pregnant, she was steeping herself in birth, assisting at her friends' home births, witnessing her sister's birth, listening to birth stories nearly every single day. In this episode, Petronella shares what it looked like to birth at home in a country where home birth is deeply uncommon. Finding private midwives outside the system, stepping back from routine checks, and trusting her own knowing. She tells us about her water breaking under the biggest full moon of the year, the moment of fear that turned into the words, "You're going to meet your power," and a birth that she experienced not as pain, but as wave after wave of intensity and surrender. She shares the beautiful moment of meeting her daughter and discovering, as she put it, a brand new heart. You are going to love the way that Petronella tunes inward. Let's jump into today's story. Please remember that the opinions of my guests may not necessarily reflect my own and vice versa. And this show is not medical advice, it's an educational tool. So continue to take empowered responsibility for your health and your family. Petronella, thank you so much for coming on the Happy Home Birth podcast.
I'm so happy to be here.
I am so excited to have you. Would you mind taking just a moment here in the beginning to introduce yourself and your family to the listeners?
Yes, I am a mom and from Sweden. I have one daughter and I'm a stay-at-home mom now. So and I live together with my husband and he's from Australia with Polish background. Yeah.
You're
Me-
diverse.
yeah. So I love nature, art, creativity.
Beautiful. Well, if your husband's from Australia and you're from
Yeah.
Sweden, where did you guys meet?
Yeah. We actually met in Austria first.
Oh, okay. So just
It is a long story, so I will not take the whole story.
that's
But
awesome though.
yeah, yeah. So it took some time for us to
Okay.
meet because of the distance, but now, yeah, now we are both here
Beautiful.
in Sweden.
Okay,
Yeah,
beautiful. So, met in Austria, then you got married and decided to have this beautiful baby.
yeah,
But I know that before you actually became pregnant, you said that you were already preparing for birth. So,
yeah.
what did that look like for you? And before you actually even get into that, I'm curious, what was your perception of birth like growing up?
Mm, yeah, that's the thing. My mom really loved to give birth,
Mm,
and so I have had a very like positive imprint of a birth, and I think that it's not so common or it's
mhm,
quite unusual, sadly. And she has four daughters, so it's four of us, and she loved to give birth. And she's always said that I would love to do it again, but it was enough with four children. So that was my first imprint of birth, that she told us the stories and how much she loved it and like
mm,
the power of it and the joy of it. And when I was born, she wanted to be a midwife because she was so moved. So that was the beginning. So I'm very grateful for that, and I think it actually has set tone and the stage for me a lot in
mhm.
becoming pregnant and how I view birth and everything.
Wow,
So,
that's beautiful. So,
mm,
okay, so you have a positive view of birth and
yeah,
then you decide to begin preparing. So what was that like?
yeah, I've been wanting to have children for a long time, and my friends were having children, and actually I was helping, assisting at my two of my friends' home births, and I happened to be at one of my sister's births. I was visiting her when it happened. So I was here until like she went into the hospital. So I had like three experiences of being on births before I even gave birth myself. So that was a big preparation in understanding like a different ways of doing it and what I liked and what I didn't like. And like it was very beautiful to be part of seeing birth and witnessing it. And they were also very different. So I could see that it can be so different. And then I was also listening to a lot of birth stories, podcasts, and because I was already, before I was pregnant, like interested in birth. But I was listening even more when I became pregnant. So then I was listening like daily. But
Wow. So you were really just steeping yourself in birth experiences
yeah,
and birth stories. There is something incredible about having the opportunity to be able to witness birth before giving birth
yeah,
yourself. And I think that that's one of the things that makes me saddest in terms of where culture is today, where, in the past, pre the hospital era,
mm,
we would have been seeing our mothers, our sisters, our aunts, cousins
yeah,
giving birth. We would have experienced it before it was our turn. And the sense of comfort and understanding that that provides by just visually having the experience is just
yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
So the fact that you did get a taste of that, not even being a birth worker, but just being a friend and being
yeah.
able to be involved and then in your sister's birth, I feel like that it sounds like that could have been extremely helpful.
Yeah, I feel like it's a privilege to be part of
Mhm.
other people's births, and especially, yeah, I'm not a birth worker like that, but I really love, and it was so, to just have the question, that they asked me to be there felt so
Mhm.
special, and then to follow on the journey, and it's magical. So
Mm,
I'm very grateful for that experience,
wow.
and also to follow them, their choices to the whole pregnancy and then birth, and see. I was learning a lot uh,
Mhm.
by that also. So
Yeah, and I bet in motherhood as well.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
having those friends that have had children before and, like, seeing how everybody does different things, that can be very helpful as well.
yeah, yeah, very much.
Wow. Okay, what happened when you decided, "Okay, it's my turn.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be pregnant." What was your experience entering pregnancy like?
yeah. When we started to try, and I don't know, it took maybe 3 months or something, and I felt that I was pregnant before I took the test, because
Mhm.
I felt like that. I don't know how to describe it, but it was like I felt whole or complete,
Mhm.
or that I was not alone or something. It was like really very beautiful feeling, and I've longed for it for a very long time. And then actually, when I took the test, I took the test, and it was like an early test,
Mhm.
but still, it wasn't early to take the test, but I had like an early test, and that showed negative. And I was very surprised because I felt so much that I was pregnant, but then, of course, I wasn't sure, and it's always, I was really sad when I got that because it felt so true.
Mhm.
And it was on my birthday. We took the test, and I was like, oh, so then I really felt that vulnerability, of like wanting it so much, and when we try and open for it, and we don't know when it's gonna happen or how or if or everything, and I could feel even more how much I wanted it and how
Mhm.
vulnerable it is. So I was really like opening up for that vulnerability, and so it was beautiful. But then my period didn't come, and it was like, okay, days and days and days and days. And so finally, my husband convinced me to take another test, because then I was just like, no, it's not. And
Mm.
um, so I took a test, and then it was positive very strongly, and I was so shocked. I was like, what? Because then, so that was the start of it, like a little surprise. We were very, very happy, very grateful, and I had a good pregnancy. I I could understand like the first 3 months after I was finished with them, or how to say, then I could see that I was affected. I could realize like, okay, I was very sensitive, even more with the food and like very hungry and all of those things, but I didn't have the morning sickness. I could feel nauseous if I didn't eat, like if it was too long between meals or things, but I wasn't really had that morning sickness, but very sensitive and more emotional, which I already am. So it was a bit like my husband was like putting the food in the wrong way on the plate and things like that.
How dare he?
Yeah. So, but I was feeling good except for that, like being more sensitive. I was feeling good, and yeah.
Mm.
And
Oh,
then the rest of the pregnancy was also good. It was nothing to say there except that I
yeah.
really enjoyed being pregnant.
That's wonderful. Now, I don't know what the medical system is like in Sweden when it comes to uh, birth care. So,
Yeah.
maternity care, all those
Yeah.
things. What was that like for you?
Yeah. So I took a very unusual road in all of this because it's very, very uncommon to birth at home in Sweden, and we don't have so many midwives that actually support home birth. So, but in the area where I was living, there is the most of them are there, so I was very lucky. But it took some time to find midwives that could support me. So that was a process in itself because I knew I wanted to give birth at home, but then I needed to find the midwives, and I was lucky to be in an area where there was many, but still there was like a process. But I've actually I found two. First I thought I was just gonna have one, but then it landed in having two, and I'm very happy for that. And I decided to not, it's all free care here that you can get like in the system and all of the checkups, and you go and they take the tests and the measurement and all of these things. But I decided to not do that. I only went like one time to take some tests that was good to take in case I would be transferred to the
Mhm.
hospital, because then it was good that they had that in the system, so it would be easier if I needed to transfer. Otherwise, I didn't have any. I did all of the care with the midwives, which is
Okay.
quite unusual.
And that's outside of the system.
Yeah,
So did you pay for that
yeah,
yourself?
I paid
Okay.
for that myself, so that's a
Gotcha.
private care.
Right.
Yeah, and I was very grateful that they also, it's a little bit different how many time they meet before and how much care they do like before the birth and after. But I was very lucky that they was supporting, and if I wanted to meet them and check up some things, or then they were coming home to me or I could go to them, and yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, that sounds beautiful. That sounds
Mm,
incredible. So, sounds like overall it was a rather easeful pregnancy.
yeah, it was.
That's nice.
I also decided actually to do an ultrasound privately, because also if you
Mhm.
do it in the system, you get that for free. I think one at 12 weeks and one at 20 weeks, and I don't know if it's more, but at least two.
Mhm.
I knew when we conceived, so I didn't want to change my due date or they measure and all of these things. And that I learned from a friend who had
Mm.
experience of being like very much pushed in the end because of going over time and things like
Ah.
that. So I really wanted to keep that, like I know when
Mhm.
it happens, so we can count from that. So we did the ultrasound privately. My husband really wanted to make an ultrasound, and I also wanted, I felt like it was nice to just check that everything, we didn't check if it was a boy or a girl, but we just wanted to see that everything
Oh.
looked fine and to see the heartbeat. It was very special, and to have that moment.
Was that about halfway through or when
Yeah,
was
it
that?
was around 20 plus 23 or something
Mhm.
like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
so sweet.
That was so sweet.
Wow.
For him, it became so real to
Yes.
see it. It's something
Mhm.
for the dads, for the husbands, I think, to be
Mhm.
able to see it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That can be really sweet. Yeah, just a sweet experience to be like, "Oh, yeah, there really is something
Yeah, it's
there."
real. It's a heartbeat. It's a real person.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So, you had the one ultrasound
Mm.
privately. What was it like towards the end of your pregnancy and kinda leading up to? labor? Like, what were those last few weeks like?
Yeah, I had one thing that happened actually was they measured my blood pressure and it was a bit high in
Mhm.
the end, which I also understand that it's quite normal that it can be like that. And I had an experience then that one of the midwives wanted to like, she texted me because it had been high and it hadn't been high like all of the other times when we checked. And she just sent a message that, oh, if it's high and it can be this and this. And then I got really scared actually, and they wanted me to check. But she was really, I knew that she didn't want to scare me or anything or push me to do anything. And but I got a bit stressed about that. But then I talked to the other midwife also, and she said that I could just take it myself because she had the, I don't know what you say, but the machine to
Yeah,
do
the
it.
cut like a cuff. Mhm.
Yeah. So I could do it, so I just could check sometime to see that it wasn't, you know, in the end starting more and more to rise or something like that. But so I
Mhm.
could do that and then it was fine. But that was my
Okay.
little bump in the end that I
Yeah.
was a bit scared. And actually, and she also said that my baby, if she could feel that it was a bit like smaller
Okay.
size. So if I was in the system, they would probably want to check that up a lot more and have a thing with a small baby and all of these things. So she mentioned that to me, but I felt like it was fine. And
Yeah.
I had a little bit of people like commenting on that I was a bit small, you know,
Mhm.
and
Which is rare. I mean, everybody has to make a comment, I guess, but I
yeah,
feel like usually it's like, "Oh, you're so big. You're
big,
so
yeah, yeah.
big."
But instead, it was like, ah, okay, so you're giving birth soon, or like, oh, you're
Yeah.
quite small, or something like that. But
Yeah.
anyway, it was. I also know that from my husband's side, he was also quite small when he was born, and his mother is also small, and in my family, and I kind of understood that it could be like that.
Right.
But that was the little things in the end. Otherwise, I was resting a lot. I was really
Mm.
tired leading up to the birth, and I understood now that that was like the first signs of birth.
Were you working at that time, or had you
No, I finished
Mhm.
work like a month
Nice.
before.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So I had a month of just like resting and being and nesting, and so that was really good. We did a move just
Mhm.
before before the birth, so that was kind of a little bit intense, but it
Mhm.
went well. It wasn't like far, but it's still to get everything into place. But I had time to rest, and 3 days I think before the birth, I was sleeping so much, and I couldn't understand. Like I was like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm sleeping a lot in the night, and then I'm home, and I'm just sleeping in the day, and listening to meditations, and just I was resting a lot 3 days
Mm.
before. Mm.
Well, that is great.
Yeah.
What a great thing to be doing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's more possible when it's your first. I can
Yeah,
understand that to to have that kind of
sure.
rest. But I'm very grateful that I did that
Mhm.
and I could. And during the whole pregnancy, like I said, I was listening to birth stories, like I don't know, at least two a day, but maybe more, like every day. And my husband was always like, "Oh, another birth story." I was cooking and yeah, I was listening a lot. And to
Mhm.
your podcast also. I think I went through the whole thing.
I love that. That's so
Mm,
cool.
yeah.
Well, did you feel as you were getting closer, did you feel excited or did you feel nervous? What was that like?
Yeah, I remember I was excited. I had this feeling of it was very hard to because you can't. I couldn't understand. Of course, I knew what
Yeah.
would happen, but it's like okay, it's gonna come out a baby. I'm gonna give birth, and it's a real person inside, and
Mhm.
like my child is gonna be born. It was such a weird time of waiting in the end, I would say. I was very excited, but and it was so much unknown
Mhm.
of not knowing what to. Of course, I knew about birth and what would happen, but I didn't know how it would feel for me, how it would go. It can be so different, and I was like, I'm waiting for something that
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, and I know what it is, but I can't. So it was a special time. I was
Mhm.
talking to like friends and family and like, what? It's so I don't know how to describe it, but it's really a very special time.
Mhm.
Anytime it can happen, like the biggest thing that can happen in your life, and you're like, and I felt like I was prepared,
Mhm.
and still I didn't know what I was preparing for, even if I
Yeah.
knew. Like, so it was that surrender part, and
Mhm.
it came to me, I think, in those days of really like something that it's beyond knowing. Like we can't understand and know this, so it's meant to be like that,
Mhm.
because it is a miracle. So it's just we have to surrender in a way,
Mhm.
because even if we know, we don't have any control over it. So
Yeah, you have to
yeah,
just step into the mystery of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oof. Woo, got chills.
Oh, and I was
Wow.
excited about that, and I was, of course, also a bit of scared of it, and just like hard to imagine. Mm.
Mhm. Wow. And so how many weeks were you when labor actually started ramping up?
Yeah, it started on my due date.
Wow. Right on time. You
Yeah,
really did
right on
know.
time. I was so surprised because I was like, "Oh, this is the day." Of course, I knew when we conceived, so I thought it was accurate, but I was not focusing on the date so much
Mhm.
at all. And we were going to buy like the last food and things that we needed for preparing for birth. And I called up a friend that was living close by to see if she was there, and we met up. And it was like the biggest full moon of the year last year in November, and I met her at the parking and we like hugged and looked at the moon, and she was asking me like, when is your due date? Isn't like it's soon? And I said today, and then my water broke.
Are you kidding?
At exactly that moment I said today, and then it's like
Oh, I bet she'll never forget that.
no. It must have been a good hug, I think.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That was just like the movies, standing there in the full moon, and she was asking me, and I was so shocked. Yeah.
Whoa. What did you do after that?
Yeah. So my husband was buying some groceries, and my friend was there with me, and I was like, "Oh, my water broke." And she looked at me, and then she went into the stores to tell my husband, and she was like, I didn't know that, but my husband told me, she was like screaming, like, "The water broke! Like, the water broke! It's happening!" But he was very calm. He was continuing with the shopping and doing his thing, and I was there waiting, and I was like, oh, I thought he would kind of run out.
I got a few more things on my list.
But we talked about it, when something happens, that to not be too excited and know that it
Mhm.
could take time and all of these things. So he was like, okay, I'm finishing this. And then it came out. So he was very calm. I was like in shock, I think.
Mhm.
I didn't think it would start like that with the
Mhm.
water breaking. But with both of my older sisters, it happened like that in
Okay.
their first births, both of them. I don't know. For my mom, it was only with me that the water
Mhm.
broke before like it started, and I kind of had wished that it would be like that.
Mhm.
But I was just like, okay, this is happening, and it was coming a lot of water. So I had some time then that it was like starting, but also not really starting, or how to say. So it was also like an in between, like a small step in
Mhm.
going towards birth. So we contacted the midwives, and we went home to my friend that was living close by so I could like change and wash myself a bit. Then we was driving home.
Mm.
Mm.
All right. So water has been broken. You
Yeah.
are now home.
Yes.
What happened next?
Yeah. Then my husband was doing a lot of like he was cooking dinner for us for after birth, with like lighting all of the fires. We were heating with fire and like warming up the house, and we had another like a sauna house where the pool was, because
Mm.
our house was too small for the pool. So he was also fixing with that and doing a lot of preparation that we have talked about before. And I was trying to rest, but it came so much water, so I was just everything was just getting wet. And
Mhm.
I had contact with the midwives, and it was kind of a in between time for me. And he was doing all of the preparations, and I was kind of, is it something more happening? Being they were asking and updating them a bit. And then I also had like a fear or a panic, actually,
Mm.
something going on inside of me that was really like, what is this? It was
Mm.
like something inside that was mm, afraid. I sat with that and I was like, okay, what is this? I want to be with this. What is this? And I was really going in deep and listening and kind of sensing. And when I was doing that, it came to me so strongly that it came to me like, you're gonna meet your power or the power. I don't know
Mm.
exactly which way it was, but it was like kind of both.
Yeah.
uh, and when I heard that and kind of realized what this is happening, then I was like, okay, I can do that.
Mhm.
I was
Wow.
saying yes, yes to that. I was like,
Wow.
okay, I'm on the train. Like, okay, we do that. I can meet the power. Yes.
Mm.
Because before I was in some in between land that was really afraid, but in a very quiet way. I don't know how to say. It was something inside going
Mhm.
on. But when I heard that and realized that that's what we're doing, or what I'm doing, we are doing, then this just, I don't know. Yeah, I really relaxed and I said yes. And I understood that, okay, this is it.
Wow.
We are doing this.
Wow. Okay, well, I love that for so many reasons. Just your ability to tune in and notice, okay, something's off, like I'm feeling this way. What is it? What is this going on? And to be able to seek out what is it?
Hmm.
And then to sense the answer and respond by surrendering.
Hmm.
Beautiful. That is so incredible. And man, it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, thank you. It was very, very special. And I really needed that. And it
Mhm.
was so beautiful that I could have that time, that
Mhm.
from the waiting, okay, now it started. But
Mhm.
then it hasn't really, like, I wasn't in deep in birth. I was still like, I dipped my toes kind of in it
Yeah.
and knew like, okay, now it will happen soon. And then that fear could come up, and then I could meet it. And then I was like, okay, yes.
Wow.
And after that, I didn't have, it was no question, it was no doubt, there was
Mm.
no fear, there was like nothing, because I did it there, you know,
Yes.
in the beginning. So
Yep.
I've heard so many stories when it's coming in the end, when
Mhm.
it's like very intense, and it felt like for me it was really like just there in the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did you notice a change after you had that moment?
Yeah, it wasn't like immediately that the
Mm.
body was starting with the waves or contractions, but it did start soon after that. And also, we had a time to light a birth candle. I had a mother blessing
Mhm.
that my friends made this candle, and we were lighting the candle, me and my husband, and was saying some prayers. So we had that sacred moment, which ended up to be actually the place where she was born, or very close to where we
Wow.
were sitting in the beginning. So that was also very special.
That is sweet.
Yeah. So after that, I could like, okay, because I was wondering like, is something happening more? Is it like I was a bit unsure, but then I was okay. Now it's on. It's happening.
Mm.
It is waves coming.
And how did those feel?
In the beginning, it wasn't so intense, also, but it was an intensity, like,
Mm.
and it was power. I felt very much like the whole thing was meeting the power, and it was powerful,
Mhm.
and it was happening through me, and it's just like this waves of power and pressure and intensity, I would
Mhm.
say.
Mm.
And I didn't experience it as painful. I can share a little bit more in like later in birth about that also, but in the beginning that was. I felt like the waves of pressure and power and intensity coming,
Okay.
that they were coming in waves. I didn't have any timings,
Mhm.
nothing like that. I didn't time anything, so I don't know how long or in between of how many or something like that. But I could feel that it was moving.
And what time was this during the day that this
Yeah,
was?
exactly. When the water broke, it was around 6 p.m.
Okay.
When it started at home after that meeting the power experience, I think it was around 9 when it actually started
Okay.
with the contractions of the waves. Yeah.
And how did those progress?
I wanted to be by myself first for the first hours because my husband had been fixing all of these things, so he went to rest, and I felt good of just being by myself. And I knew from before, and I prepared the midwives also, that I just wanted them to come in the end.
Mhm.
Of course, I didn't know that I would want that in the moment, but that was what I thought, and it actually was like that
Mhm.
for this birth. Uh, so they knew that okay, she wants to be by herself or with her husband as long as possible, and then
Mhm.
they can come. So he was up resting, and I was meeting the waves, and they got more intense, and I was very like physical and vocal. I was moving a lot, standing up, shaking, and saying yes. In Swedish, it is ja. So I was like saying ja a lot.
Mhm. That's
And
perfect. Whoa.
yeah.
That's a great word to be using.
Yes. So I was really saying yes and standing up, and we had like a wooden pole in the house. So I was holding this and shaking my hips and really like saying yes a lot and moving around. And I needed to go to the toilet a lot. I also knew that before that that would happen to me. I've heard it on different birth stories, but somehow I was like, okay, that's gonna be me. So I needed to do that a lot. So I was, yeah, going to the toilet and then standing up and sounding and shaking and moving and very physical the first part when I was by myself.
Wow. Okay. So those first hours are by yourself, very physical.
Yeah.
How did that change over time, or did it?
Yeah, it got more and more intense. And then I felt like I wanted my husband to come down and be there. And the whole birth, I didn't want to have any like pressure and somebody else being kind of holding me or something like that. But I really felt like, okay, now I want you to be close. I want you
Mm.
to be here
Mhm.
by my side because it was getting more intense and yeah, more and more intense, fewer breaks in between. And I was like, okay, now I need you to be here. So he came down and was there, and he was also like pouring some warm water on me. That was nice. And I was continuing being very active and very physical, and every wave contraction I was wanting to go like up and stand and
Mm.
shake and move and sound. So that was going on for hours. I don't know how many. I know that the midwives came around 3, so from 9 to 3 in the
Wow.
morning.
That's like great timing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, it was she's born just like around, just before 6 in the morning.
Okay.
So I felt like the whole birth was very good time. I don't know how to
Yeah.
say, but yeah. So I was doing that for how many hours is that? From 9 to 3.
6 hours from 9 to 3-ish.
Mm. But around 2, I felt like I wanted to call the midwives because it got more intense,
Mhm.
and I felt like it was time. And I didn't know, and that was the thing. Like I was very open for like, okay, I don't know where I am. If this
Mhm.
is like going to be many hours still, is it going to be a lot more intense? And the strange thing was that I could reflect. I really thought that I would be, in the birthing, what do you say, like bubble or world,
Mhm. Mhm.
and not using my intellect so much, or have to
Mhm.
say to reflect. But in the birth, I could really do that without it like spinning away in thoughts or scaring me, or it was just like very clear.
Mm.
I was like reflecting on like, oh, this is not really, I don't feel pain. It doesn't feel painful.
Mm.
And I was, oh, but maybe it will.
Mhm.
Or maybe it will come and maybe it will be more intense. And
Mhm.
I was like, okay, now I want to call the midwives. And I was talking to them and she was asking me questions. I don't know how I seemed, but from me, I felt I was clear
Mhm.
without that being a distraction for
Mhm.
myself. And I really didn't think that before birth. I thought
Mhm.
I would be like gone into labor land. That's what I've heard. And I really thought that I would be like not talking or thinking or reflecting like that or being aware.
I feel like it's really incredible when you can have that. I think going to Laborland is also so beautiful, but
Yeah.
an ability to have, a sense of mindfulness about what's going on can be really helpful and kind of grounding to the experience.
It felt like it was just supporting me. That
Mhm.
was because it felt really like kind and clear and calm. It
Mhm.
wasn't like going away and like, oh, I don't know, and maybe this and that. And it wasn't like that. It was very peaceful, just
Mhm.
observing and okay, like I don't know, but this is how it feels now. I don't know, and that made it also so clear. Like okay, now it's time. Like I want to contact them,
Mhm.
and I still don't know how far along I am. And the midwife, she actually asked if I wanted to check myself, and I
Mhm.
told them before that I didn't want to be checked or anything, and I said no, that I didn't want to. And she could hear then how I was like, she could hear when I worked through the contractions, and they said they would come. But I knew then that they were like 20 minutes away or something. So I thought, okay, if I call now, then they will come soon. But then it was like an hour or something until they actually was there. So when I was waiting, I was like, I told my husband like, "No, I want them to be here. Why? I want them to be here. Like, I call like, I was a bit frustrated because
They took their time.
yeah, they took their time. It was a bit foggy, and they were probably sleeping and needed to get their things ready and like all of these things. So then when they came, it actually slowing down a bit. I don't know
Mhm.
if it was because that they came, but it was also they were reflecting back to me that I was getting tired.
Mhm.
And first, I could start to feel it a little bit, and they were trying to like, oh, maybe you should be a bit less active or like try to meet the waves in some other way, like trying to guide me to do something not as physical and giving so much energy. And I was like, no.
Mhm.
I like doing this. I tried to do something else, but then I just went back to my thing. Yeah, shaking and sounding and walking around there naked and but after a while I also realized like okay, I'm getting tired. It's
Yeah.
it's true. I'm getting tired. But actually before that happened, when the first midwife came, I think she also asked if she could check me. I don't know exactly now with the order of things, but they came and one of them asked. She asked on the phone, but then she also asked when she was there. I think she was curious to know a bit more probably. And even if I had said it before that I didn't want to, and she's very sweet and not pushing and anything. It wasn't like trying to get me to do it or anything.
Mhm.
I could sense how vulnerable that is, even if I knew that I didn't want it. But just in that so vulnerable, powerful, open place
Yep.
to give birth, just to have that question again, I was just like, oh, but I said no. And I was very happy that I said no because I didn't want to. And it wasn't necessarily like it wasn't needed. So yeah, I was very happy that I said no. And then they didn't ask anything anymore. So
That's good. Yeah,
that
I
was
do
good.
think it's just with that level of openness and vulnerability that you're talking
Yeah,
about, it is easy to be influenced. The
yeah,
words people say, even the very, kind, like you said, she was just kindly asking. She wasn't trying to force you, but you're very impressionable and it can be
yeah,
very easy to decide, oh, well, actually, I guess I will, even if you really don't want to, you find yourself just doing it.
Mm.
And I know that's not, typically a midwife's intention is not to have you, do something you don't want to do, but it's just such an open and vulnerable place. So
Yeah.
that's pretty incredible that you were, even though you felt it, you felt that sense, you were able to say, nope, I don't need this. I'm going to
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah. I'm so happy that I said no, because I would
Mhm.
really have regretted that. I just know that, and it wasn't needed, and I could feel it. I'm so happy that I said no, and I can understand how people like, because I was at home and I was safe, and I knew this person, and we had talked about it before, and like everything was so like safe for me, so it was very supported for me to have that no. But if I would be in another context, it would be even harder, and I can
Right.
understand how easy things can happen that you don't want.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And I knew that before, but it is another thing to experience that.
Oh, yeah.
But then, yeah, they came and it was slowing down a bit, and I realized that I was tired, getting tired. And one of the midwives helped me to change the position and helped me change to like work with the waves and the intensity in a new way. Because I was like trying to lay down or trying to do something else, but then I just changed very quickly. And she said, like, okay, but you need to stay for some time in a new position to know if it's good or not. You can't just like go there and then you need to stay for some time, she said. And that was really, really helpful. And I really needed that and at that moment, because otherwise I would have just continued with my things that I really enjoyed doing, but I couldn't anymore because I was too tired to do it. So she really helped me, and I could lay down, and she was saying three words. I don't remember the words, but she was like repeating three words that was really helping me to then meet the intensity inside of me, and
Mhm.
that I could really focus inwardly so much. Like, and I really needed to bring all of me, there and be going in and meeting the waves. And that was so beautiful because then I could lay down and my body could be relaxed, and then the waves and the intensity could like go through me, and I really needed to focus, but I didn't need to move or sound or be so active.
Mm.
So that was really beautiful.
Wow. So you get to this new position,
Yeah.
less active, more restful, more
Mm.
internal,
Yeah.
meeting this intensity internally instead
Yeah.
of external activity.
Yeah.
And how did that progress your birth?
It was slowing down, I think, but they were still coming
Mhm.
quite intensely. And I was laying down on my left side, and my husband was sitting just like above by my head, and I could hold his hand. And the midwife was like down holding up my right leg. And yeah, so I was there, and I could really rest. And the waves were coming, and they were intense, but they were maybe further apart, but
Mhm.
still intense. And then I was asking them. I knew I would know, but I was asking. It's like, I will notice when the pushing contractions come, right? And they were like, yes, yes, you will notice. And then just shortly after that, I experienced one, and it was so powerful,
Mm.
out of this world powerful. It was so intense, but I really liked it, and it's so strong. And the sounds that I made was just also, I never made those sounds. And I'm quite vocal, and I've been exploring my voice a lot. And
Mm.
but I was just blown away by this power, and I was letting it just wash through me, that intense power. And I was squeezing my husband's hand and like growling, and this immense power just flooding me. And then I was like, okay, that was it.
Mm.
It was very powerful. And then I had a break in between. Like I had a few of them, but they were like minutes apart that I could rest.
Mhm.
and I was laying so comfortably I could really relax my whole body. Then that intense pushing contractions was just coming, and in between I was just resting. And somehow the whole process went like the midwives were telling me what was going to happen, and then it happened. So I also had like a mental kind of preparation, like, okay, you're gonna feel like the intensity here, or it's gonna push here, and then the like all of the things that was happening, they were saying, and then it kind of happened
Mhm.
after. So it was really beautiful, and I could feel a lot
Mm.
her moving inside of me, and also just before this, or maybe when I had one of these pushing contractions, the other midwife came in because she's been fixing with the pool in the other house, as I mentioned that I had a birth pool, and they said that everything was ready because it took more time, of course, than we planned because some things happened, but it was ready, and they were asking me if I wanted to go there. When I was laying down, so relaxed, and I already started to have this pushing contractions, and I was like, I didn't feel like, no, I don't want that, but I just felt like I have everything I need here.
Mm.
It feels like I don't want to get up and walk and change house and go into a pool when I already feel relaxed and safe and everything is good here.
Mm.
So we stayed, and yeah, I'm very happy for that. So
Yeah.
so then some first they were more spread out, the pushing contractions, and then they came a bit closer. I don't know how many. I think the whole thing was maybe an hour or maybe
Mm.
more from the first one to, until she came out. But I also had so many breaks like in
Mm.
between from the first one. Yeah, it was very beautiful to feel her moving inside of me and this intensity. And then they said like, okay, and then she gonna crown, and the head is gonna come and they stay there. And then that happened. It was like intense, but it wasn't painful.
Mm.
Also, I was holding my hand on her head because I
Mm.
was laying down, so I could hold and I could feel her coming, and that was very beautiful. So I could feel also that everything was good,
Mhm.
and I was doing like horse lips, and I was trying to really relax, and not I wasn't pushing; it was really my body doing it. So
Mhm.
I was just surrendering to that power and saying yes to it.
Mm.
And before, one of my fears was to tear, and I talked to my midwives about that, like if in the end, like I had a sense of if it's been like a long time and I was tired, I could really go like be more forcefully wanting to get the baby out. And I was a bit afraid of that, so I told them like if that happens, really like help me to not
Mhm.
force because I don't want that. But that I didn't feel any need to force or do anything, and I had my hand there all the time. They told me that after, and I forgot it, but I did, so I could feel her coming out, and I could feel also then that I wasn't tearing and that it was all good. I could just feel that, okay, this is good.
Mm.
And then she came out, and the most beautiful moment, and she was quiet, and her eyes was like looking at me. And they helped her a little bit. The midwives took her, and I think she had a cord maybe
Mm.
around, I don't know, and they gave her to me and put her on my chest, and there was
Mm.
just this peace, peace. It was so peaceful, and
Mm.
so like I've been longing for this moment for so many years, and you've been here, and now finally you're here. And
Wow.
we did this, and you're here now. You're here now, and it was just I thought I would be more like ecstatic high, I don't know, something, and I probably was, but it felt so completion and
Mm.
peace.
Sounds very grounded.
Yeah. Ah, I was so like natural. It was just like, yes, you are here now. And had felt that it was a girl, but I didn't dare to be so sure about it.
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
like, I think, but I don't know. And then when she came, I also felt like it was a girl, but we didn't look straight away. But I was like, okay, it's you. And then we looked,
Oh,
and it was a
wow.
girl.
Wow.
Ah, and everything just went so good. She was breastfeeding. The placenta came out because I was in this moment, and it felt like it was just a few minutes, and then the midwives were like, "Oh, one thing was talking about the placenta," and I was like, "What?" We just why it's no like rush with that, and they saw that I had like a contraction, so the placenta was like loose, so they wanted
Mhm.
it to. It was kind of laying there, and they wanted it to come out to have a look at it, and it had gone like maybe 20 minutes or something. I thought it was 2 minutes. Yeah, I was like squatting a bit to get it
Mhm.
out, and then it came out, and it looked good.
Mm.
Uh, yeah.
Wow. So, first birth at home, and you would say it was pain-free.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Incredible.
I didn't experience it as painful, and that has been a thing that you know I feel a bit like, oh, can I say that? I
Mhm.
don't know that I've. And I was listening to a lot of stories about people having pain-free births
Mhm.
also, and even orgasmic birth. Like there is a lot of different. So I was aware I really had that
Mhm.
in me, and I was in a way preparing and praying for that, but I was also very open to what will happen. I know I was preparing and I felt confident, but I also knew that I don't have control over this, and I need
Mhm.
to. I want to welcome what is, and it's not in my control at
Mhm.
all what happens, and it's so many things that can happen
Yeah.
in birth. Yeah, and to even be in the birth, now that I could reflect on that it wasn't painful, and then
Mhm.
after also I was, because then I was like, maybe it will come.
Mm.
I've had painful like periods, and I mean it's probably not the same feeling as in birth, but still I thought it would be maybe something like that, or but much more intense. I really didn't feel like it was painful.
Wow. Amazing. Oh my
Mm.
goodness. Petronella, this is incredible. I'd love to hear, is there anything you want to share about postpartum that you experienced?
Yeah, it was really good
Mm.
and beautiful. It was a bit, of course, emotional and a lot of new things, and but we had also prepared to have a meal train with our
Mm.
friends, and that was really beautiful. I didn't know if I would be like wanting to just be us and not have people for a long time, or if I would be like wanting people to come over. But we had that planned so they could either just leave food or to come in a bit if we wanted to. And that was really, really beautiful because then they had the whole day, but then usually in the evening, some of my friends are
Oh.
coming over and they had a meal, and we were like just had a little quiet moment, but also to
Mm.
share about the birth and just to have this, I felt so much like I wanted to celebrate.
Mhm.
I was like, wow, this is the biggest miracle is she is here. I want to
Yeah.
share it. I want to celebrate. I want to not like a big party, but really to uh celebrate. And it was so beautiful. My friends, they had this meal train, but then they also collected like a big box of a lot of yummy things that they know that I like and was coming, and that felt like a really big celebration, and everyone was so happy, and it was really beautiful to have that time, precious to be able to meet them in a very calm way.
Mhm.
But breastfeeding went good. It started, she was feeding like directly, and some belly. issues, but I think that's very normal that it happens
Mm.
somehow with her digestion a bit. But it's a very, very open time, or how to say, like
Mm.
I felt like I had a new heart. I felt like I
Mm.
was new and I had a new heart, and that new heart to be in the world with this heart is like another thing to have a mother heart. And
You're making me want to cry.
oh, but that was so, I was so full of like poetry and love, and I was trying to express. I like to write poetry and express myself, but it was like this is something else. Like it's a
Mm.
new level of love and life, and yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Well,
Yeah.
what an incredible story
Mm.
for your first birth to be that way. I know it must be exciting to think about, wow, what will it be like the next time? And
Yes, I've
just
been both excited and also a bit, not scared, but like, okay, this was so good, and I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not gonna have expectation. I mean, I want to
Mhm.
prepare, of course, for a very beautiful birth, but it's gonna also be what that birth is gonna be, and I
Yeah.
also don't have control over that. But
You get to have a brand new experience,
yeah, yeah.
whenever that is. But this was beautiful.
Thank
Such
you.
a joy, such
Mm.
an honor to have you. Petronella, thank you so much for coming on the Happy Home Birth podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
What a beautiful conversation. As we move into this week's episode roundup, there are a few themes from Petronella's story that have really stayed with me. First, I keep coming back to the power of preparation. Petronella didn't start getting ready for birth when she got pregnant. She started years before. She assisted at her friends' home births. She witnessed her own sister's birth. She listened to birth stories nearly every single day, so many that her husband would laugh. Another birth story? By the time labor arrived, trust wasn't something she had to summon in the moment, it was already woven into her. What a picture of how preparation works. It's the foundation that you get to stand on when the day finally comes. Next, I was so moved by the moment that Petronella described as meeting her power. Early in labor, before things had fully begun, a fear rose up in her. And instead of pushing it away, she got still. She asked what it was. And what came back to her was an invitation. You're going to meet your power. And she said yes. And from that yes, the fear was gone. No doubt, no question left. How often do we treat fear as a stop sign? Petronella's story is such a reminder that sometimes the fear we feel in birth, it isn't a warning, it's an invitation. And finally, the theme that stayed with me most was absolutely surrender. Petronella prepared more intentionally than almost anyone I've spoken with, and still, she said it so simply. Even when we know we don't have any control over it, it's a miracle. And a miracle asks us to surrender. She surrendered to the waves. She surrendered to her body, holding her hand on her baby's head as she was born, just saying yes. And on the other side of all that surrender was a peace that she could hardly describe. A brand new heart, she called it, a mother heart. What a reminder that the goal was not to control birth, it was to trust it and to trust the woman God designed to move through it. Whew. All right, my friends, that's all I've got for you for today. I'll see you back here next week.